Also, during descent and approach, they hear changes in engine power and flat deployment as well. The blue cloud produced when the still tires smack the runway signals another 747 arrival. The noisiest moment comes when the thrust reversers go to work to slow the airplane after touchdown. Welcome to New York. The local time is 4:30 p.m. The aircraft is on the runway and slowed to taxiing speed. The captain takes hold of the nose-wheel tiller near his knee and steers the big Boeing to its arrival gate. The passengers exit, collect their bags, and head for home. Meanwhile, on the ramp, the process begins all over again. 747s have been doing this every day for more than 3 decades. And in all likelihood, they'll still be at it for decades to come. The 747-400 is fitted with an enhanced ground proximity warning system. This piece of electronic wizardry alerts the pilot that the airplane is coming too close to mountains or other terrain.
So the latest versions of the airplane, as an example, have enhanced ground proximity warning system, which is a very high-tech way of improving crew avoidance of the ground when they're not sure of their position. The airplane and its systems knows where it is, even if the pilot may be confused or if air traffic control might make a mistake. That's the very latest safety enhancement that's going into commercial airliners today, and the 747-400 has that.
The 747 is commonly known as a jumbo. It's also a cash cow, a big cash cow, in that, well, let me put it in perspective. The revenue that we generate at Virgin Atlantic on one round trip of our airplane between New York and London, which is between $400,000 and $500,000 that we generate on one round trip of the airplane. So it's a lot of money. When we started service in 1984, we only had one airplane to begin with, and frankly, choosing the 747 was a bit of a no-brainer.
Some airports are reaching maximum operational capacity. During peak hours, the runway simply can't accommodate any additional landings and takeoffs. Since it is the number of aircraft rather than their size that causes constraints, some operators want to use the biggest airplane possible. Consequently, interest has grown in developing a super jumbo, one capable of carrying 550 passengers or more. As Director of Product Development at Boeing, David Anderson has unique insight to the 747's future.
We look at airplanes larger than the 747 that are designed from scratch. We look at supersonic transports. We look at flying wing type concepts. It looks to me like the airplane that makes the most economic sense is to continually improve the current 747-400.
I believe the 747 program is just in its midlife. You'll see this airplane flying another 20 or 30 years from now. It'll be in production for something like 50 years.
When Boeing launched the 747 project, the company bet its entire net worth on the airplane. The gamble has paid off handsomely. Adjusted for inflation, the airplane has generated sales in excess of $150 billion. Boeing regards it as its brightest star. And since the vast majority of sales are to carriers outside the United States, the 747 is one of America's most important export products as well. But most people don't think of the 747 in those terms. Rather, to them, it is like an old, well-traveled companion. It takes them safely, comfortably from here to a faraway there. It is familiar. It is absolutely trustworthy. And even now, after all these years, Boeing's remarkable 747 is still a wonder to behold.
Up next, from DNA testing to forensic anthropologists, investigators identify victims in order to put their killers behind bars on The New Detectives. And from polar bears to New York City, check out our new live cams and scan the world at Discovery.com.